Hello, this is Adrian Singleton with Beyond Lean. I am super excited to be able to come on here with the second piece about being laid off. I'm going to talk about the strategic advantage of being laid off. Thank you so much for liking, share, and subscribing to the channel. We have received so many comments in terms of what's taking place in the world of being laid off. Thank you all that are commenting. I know that right now in our economy that things are shifting, businesses are shifting, new leaders are coming in, new CEOs are coming in. We're seeing CEOs that are stepping down from different roles, and overall leadership changes impacts everyone that's within the corporation. But I want to come on here today to give you some encouraging things about being laid off. And I want to talk about the strategic advantage of being laid off. I know that it may seem like that's an oxymoron or is a different statement to think about this, but if you are impacted behind a layoff, there is nothing else you can do with the other company. I know some minds tend to try to ask a lot of questions. Why did I get laid off? I performed at the highest level. But to be honest with you, when a company has made a decision to lay you off, I've been on both ends. When we make a decision to lay off a certain amount of people, there is nothing that's going to take place because we've already planned out the amount of the total budget for the severance packages. We've thought about the vacations. We've thought about all the things in detail, and we've made sure that are we putting you in the best position so that you can land your next role without a hard time. And we know that the very first thing we do is we become very emotional, which is the human side of us, which is okay. But I want to give you 5 tips this time, or it'll be 5 additional tips. So you'll have 10 total tips that I've given you over the last couple of weeks about the advantage or the leap pad of being, or the launch pad of being laid off. So number 1, I want you to think like this. You should be networking like never before. Some of you all, myself included, I spend so much time on LinkedIn. I know that my teenage nephews, nieces, they spend a lot of time on TikTok. My kids might spend time on Facebook or Instagram. My habit is I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn because I love to be in the environment around people that talk business, continuous improvement. You get the greatest update in terms of business, a different shift, a different thought process. So many great thought leaders. I'm a thought leader when it comes down to continuous improvement because I really love to invest and develop minds. So you want to be able to connect with your network. You know, a lot of us, we receive messages from recruiters when we are really happy with the roles we're in. It would tend to shun away the recruiters that may ask us if we are looking for a new opportunity. But I want to tell you this, anytime a recruiter asks you for a conversation, I would encourage you to have the conversation. Even if you're with a job that you really, really love, you have long tenure, at least have the conversation. Why? Because this creates a network of relationships you have just in case if you're laid off. And if something happens, then you can always be on their, what I call, warm list. You never want to be on a recruiter's cold list because if you're on their warm list or hot list, then that means that they already have you inside of their database, and that if certain roles come up that align with your future or what you're trying to do, then they can already have a whole lot that's already lined up for you. So if you're cold, then they haven't had a chance to research who you are. They don't have your resume. They have no information about you, so that when higher level roles open up, you're not anywhere in that database. So I will always say this: keep your relationship warm with recruiters and let them know about the future that you want to go to, your next 2 to 3 year plan or your next 5-year goals, where you're looking to be, so that some of them, they have reminders within their databases that, hey, Adrian says that he want to do this in 2 or 3 years. So let me put a calendar reminder to just follow up with him in 2 or 3 years. And if I see something that aligns with his skill set, at least let me ping him to see if he has an interest. So make sure that you are networking with all of your counterparts, past employers, past bosses that you work with, People you know that receive great promotions, that may be in an opportunity to influence your resume, individuals that you can pass your resume to and say, listen, I'm thinking about this role within your current company. Can you share with me the hiring manager? Networking with people and relationships are super important, especially as a lean practitioner. Your next role is likely one conversation away. Majority of the roles that you're looking for, shameful to say, they're not on LinkedIn, but they're in relationships. There are so many roles that are on the desk of high-level recruiters that they never post, because if they already have a person's name in mind and they have an opportunity, they don't even have to waste time posting their role because they already have you on their warm list. So they don't waste time putting it on LinkedIn. So they just say, hey, I have the right person for this role. They're already in the city. They are looking to travel. They are remote. You already meet the qualifications. And because you're warm or you're hot, then they drop you right into the opportunity to start the interviewing process. So number one, network like never before. Be intentional. Reach out with purpose, not desperation. Again, I mentioned that last time. Don't have yourself to be coming off like you're desperate. Have confidence, because remember, you have a new level of value that you are adding to the industry, and you have to have the confidence to know that you bring value to the table and the recruiters can pick it up and they know that you're on that hot list and they have to put you in position to land a great role. Number two, I talked about this. There is a hidden job market. And the hidden job market only comes to recruiters that are used to and have the reputation of placing very talented people in different high-level roles. So if you are hot on their list and you are staying in contact with them, matter of fact, I would say if you have a job that you are happy with, I would say as a part of your networking, if you're going to networking events, you should network and keep a portfolio of recruiters that you can talk to, especially if you are a hiring manager yourself. This is the key. Now, not only will you be looking for roles in the past, but you're also looking for great talent. Remember, I am a person that believes in P2, people first, process second. So if I have a great relationship with great recruiters that bring in great executives or people that are strong in their talent, then that's a relationship that they have with me too as well, because if they place them inside my company, they're used to me paying them a fee for bringing in great talent. So I have a great reputation, great rapport with them after years of having a great relationship. But there are certain roles I might tell them that I don't want to put on the market, that I may have to post it, but they don't have to post it, but they have the perfect individual that can fit this role perfectly. And I have brought people in, even though I've done my due diligence to interview people, to make sure I talk to enough individuals, to look at a certain amount of resumes, just to make sure that I don't miss talent that I can probably place in a different role in the future role opportunities I have. But I make sure that I keep my networking alive, and I understand that certain roles would never be posted. The higher the role, the less likely opportunity that it would land on a job board. Remember this. So placement firms and relationships gives you access to opportunities before they exist publicly. That's why you want to make sure, on my last episode, I told you, take full advantage of placement firms because they know about the hidden market. It's just like real estate. Some houses will never hit the market, and jobs are the same exact way. Certain high-level jobs will never hit the market, but if you are on the warm list, guarantee you have an opportunity to at least have a shot at having a conversation with the hiring manager. Number three, this is super important. You should take time in this strategic shift to work on your executive brand. Even if you're not an executive, you should be working on your executive brand. You should look like 2 or 3 promotions ahead of where you're going. Because what happens is you should be able to show up exactly like your LinkedIn page shows up. In our coaching, we always coach individuals about their executive presence because that's super important. Don't short step what LinkedIn and your branding outside of LinkedIn can do. Even think about your personal Facebook and Instagram and TikTok page. Super important for your branding. You want to be able to show up as a thought leader at every single level, because they look you up. Recruiters look you up and they want to see how are you outside of the four walls of your career. And if they have mixed messages, then it could be an impact on what you bring to the company. So your executive brand is everything. How you look, how you show up, your professional headshot. Make sure that all of those things are in line. If people can't quickly understand your value, they won't pay for it. I'll say it again. If I cannot see the value of what you bring, I'm not willing to pay for it. So if you're expecting to have a higher level role as a lean practitioner, then how do I see your value before I even talk to you? Sure, you can have the greatest resume, but after I look up you in terms of your resume, and if I go to your LinkedIn profile, what would I see? Do you have a valuable brand? Somebody that is representing so well that I want to bring to the company that can uphold the company's name or can add value to the company itself. I also want to think about this. This is the time to position yourself as a thought leader and not just a candidate. If you go to my LinkedIn profile page, you'll see often I post certain things. And the reason why you see me doing this podcast is because I know that after 25, 26 years of experience, I am a thought leader because I really love continuous improvement. It has given me and my family and people around me a way of life. But it also gives me the opportunity to develop minds every single day. This is something I love to do. I was built to develop people. So I love to talk to the expertise of lean, continuous improvement, executive present, growing businesses, B2B accusations. This is a part of who I am. How do I build enterprises? How do I connect 3 to 5 year visions and strategies and grow the company? I can talk to these things all the time. So it gives me a right based off my expertise to be a thought leader. So I'm speaking to these things every day. So if people look me up, they can find me with one message. You can find me talking about beyond lean. You can find me talking about executing projects. You can find me talking about strategic plans, strategic initiatives, because this is something that I absolutely enjoy and love to do. Number four, it's time to reevaluate and level up. So don't rush into what's available. There are a lot of jobs out there. There's a certain time period where you can start applying for lower level roles if your severance is getting low, but don't rush into it right off. Take your time. Assess the next step you want to go into. Think about the next company you want to go into. Every single company I've worked with, I want to make sure that I'm working with top Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, because if I work with these companies, it's proven that my skill set working inside these companies, it gives me a great name. Some of the big companies, anytime, especially as a lean practitioner, you hear companies names like Danaher, Toyota, GE. When you see people that have worked for these companies, you never have an opportunity to think about not having a job. But when you have the opportunity to learn these businesses and work with these top tier companies that are Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, they're growing, their stocks are all over the place. Think about if you are a practitioner with Amazon, or a practitioner with Google, or a practitioner with Tesla. When you're working with these high-level companies, especially technical companies, your name has so much more value, but you want to make sure that you understand that you have an opportunity to re-elevate and level up yourself in terms of your skill set so that you can make sure that you are represented in those fields. So align your next move with growth, with impact, and long-term trajectory, not just compensation. A lot of times we only look at compensation, even though compensation is super important, but you need to think about the brand and how you are attached to certain companies. I know that there was a great book I read, but it talks about this young man, in order for him to become the entrepreneur that he is today, to where he's worth billions of dollars, he first took on an apprenticeship after working for a company for so long. And guess how much he made on this apprenticeship? $0. He took time to work 6 months to a year to learn tools, skill sets, adding value to himself, understanding business, understanding P&L, understanding how to speak the financial language, understanding how to work with M&A, mergers and acquisitions. And then when he came from working with his individuals, he was able to up his skill set to now he not only worked for Fortune 100 companies, but he was able to start his own company. And now his company is worth billions and billions of dollars. So don't be afraid to take lower roads. Don't just focus on the compensation. Think about growth. Think about your impact. Think about long-term trajectory in terms of your career. And number 5, the future is higher, not lower. Don't allow your mindset to change up where you think you can go. Think about, how do I increase myself? My future has a lot more value. I always remind every single person this, that the value that you have now is a lot more than the value before you entered the company that you were laid off from. There was a certain skill set that you did not have. But if you were with this company for 6 months to a year, 2 or 3 years, you were successful at some projects. You were successful at some initiatives. You were successful at some strategies. So now that you have learned those strategies, you're an expert at those strategies. Now you have became the vision. You have became the value. You have became a new level practitioner. You have the expertise. You've led a lot more Kaizen events. You have been a part of a lot more achievable executions in terms of Kaizens and whatever you've done. You have expertise in being around executives. You have reported out to executives. You've been a part of high-performing teams. So now your value has went to a whole different level. So your future is higher, not lower. This is not a setback. It is a setup for a higher level if you move in a direction strategically. Don't allow your emotions to come in and slow you down from executing the opportunity from strategically being able to move up to a high level role. I want you again to think in terms of trajectory. Think in terms of long term, not in timeline, because your timeline is locked to if my severance money will run out. Hear me a factor, it's okay. So when you are going and where you're going, it matters more than how fast you get there. So again, I'm gonna say this again. Where you're going matters more than how fast you get there. Don't worry about the speed of time. Take this time to add value to yourself. Take this time to understand more skills that you did not have. Think about being in the meetings with executives. There are certain things that executives mention in meetings that you had no idea what they was talking about. You don't understand the language. You don't understand the transition. You don't understand the P&L. So now I want you to think back 6 months to a year when you were sitting in executive meetings. You don't want to be shameful to ask the questions, but what were the things they talked about that you did not have an answer for? You did not know anything about it, and it was really new information. Now I want you to take the time, learn the new information, go through YouTube, go through the executive placement company and find those gaps and close those gaps. And I guarantee you that you will understand, just like the name of this podcast, you will have the strategic advantage of being laid off. My name is Adrian Singleton. Thank you for being a part of Beyond Lean.